guys want to go ahead and start? All right.
Present, it is unclear as to whether or not we have an applicant, and since the applicant was the seventh, okay, Mr. Beckley? Okay, thank you. I believe we can go ahead and begin.
Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and call to order the Board of Adjustments meeting for Thursday, April 20th. It is 1:04. Before we start, we'll read the Board of Adjustment. Hearings before the Board of Adjustments are quasi-judicial in nature. Decision of the boards are based on the record of these proceedings. To grant a variance requires a concurrent vote of 4/5 of the members of the board. To reverse or modify the determination of an administrative official requires simple majority. Evidence submitted to the board for review becomes part of the record. Appeals of the board's decision are to Superior Court and based on the record. Appeals must be filed within 30 days of the date of the filing of the board's order in the Planning Division. A hearing before the board is conducted in accordance with its rules of procedure. Those who want to testify in cases are sworn as witnesses. The chairperson will recognize those who want to testify or their attorneys or for their presentation of evidence during the hearing. To ensure all testimony is properly recorded, please come forward to address the board, state your name, address, and speak clearly. So before we go forward, I guess we'll swear in those that will be presenting evidence.
All right, I'll ask staff, applicants, member of the public that wish to speak, raise their right hand. Do you swear that testimony you're about to give is the whole truth, is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
All right, we'll continue on the agenda. Next item is the approval of the minutes from the March 16th, 2023 meeting.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes as submitted.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Those pass. Next, we'll move on to old business regarding 6120 Oleander Drive.
This item was resolved outside of the Board of Adjustment, and the applicant has requested to withdraw from the agenda
All right.
completely.
I'd like to make a motion that we withdraw item 1, 6120 Oleander Drive.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll move on to the next item, 108 South 2nd Street.
This item has also been resolved outside of the hearing. The applicant will be burying the power lines as required by city code, and so they have requested to withdraw this item.
I'd like to make a motion that we withdraw item 2, 108 South 2nd Street.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone? That passes. We'll move on to new business. Now we have 4 in a row that are all going to be continued, so we'll just do one at a time.
Yes, sir. Items 3 through 6 have requested a continuance to the May 18th meeting in hopes that they'll have a full complement of the board present for their items. I believe that we can consider that request if we name off the address of each of them. I think we can consider them all together unless for whatever reason there's one that you would not want to continue.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to continue item number 3 for 136 Skysdale Drive, number 4, 2346 Carolina Beach Road, number 5, 307 North Front Street, number 6, 5417 Park Avenue.
Make a motion that we continue items 3, 4, 5, and 6 to the May 18th Board of Adjustment meeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. That passes. Our next item is item number 7 involving 716 and 724, 716, 720, 724 South 4th, and 719 South 3rd Street.
You may recognize this property. They were in January, and the board granted a variance at that time to remove a specimen tree and to increase the allowable height for a proposed structure at that location. The request before you today is to the location of the parking in the urban mixed-use district pursuant to City Code Section 18340. The subject site is currently vacant, and the applicant, well, with the exception of a residential structure, as you can see on the northeast corner of the property, it appears to be vacant, and the applicant will be proposing to demolish that structure for a mixed-use project containing retail and residential with parking underneath the building. Land Development Code Section 18340 A3B states that parking facilities shall not occupy the corner of a block for a distance of 35 feet from the corner, nor shall it be located within 20 feet of a right-of-way. The applicant has requested a variance to both of those standards. The site is bounded on 3 sides by right-of-way, the South 3rd and South 4th Street rights-of-way, and Wooster Street. There's currently no connection to Wooster Street from South 4th Street, and it's not likely that there ever would be due to the topography of the site, and we have confirmed that with the Department of Transportation. The site is a designated brownfield, which restricts the use of the ground floor for residential uses due to the high potential for contaminants in the soil. And to limit soil disturbance, the applicant has proposed tiering parking to be located within 20 feet of the right-of-way. They submitted their variance request on March 8th, and the applicant, in his application, stated that since 4th and Wooster Streets do not physically connect, a variance to the 35-foot corner setback for parking does not apply. However, I'd like to bring that to the board's attention in case the board should disagree. Additionally, the parking area is completely covered by building, and the allowance to utilize more of that space for parking will allow a unit to parking ratio of 1-to-1, which ensures adequate parking for the residents of that project as well as the surrounding neighborhood. And this matter is set for hearing before you today, April 20th, 2023. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have of city staff. I'd like to offer the case summary as well as all attachments into the record. And the attachments are in your packet, and we've got them as part of the presentation if you'd like to look at them in any further depth.
All right, does anyone have any questions? All right, would the applicant like to come forward?
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Beckley. I'm at 1010 Nut Street, apartment 1212. Hope I'm not holding up weekends here. Sorry for being the only one. One clarification, the duplex on the property has since been demoed. We applied for a demo permit and it was executed 2 weeks ago, so it's no longer there. And yesterday we successfully went through a PC hearing for, it was, what were we there for? Man, it's been too much. I believe it was a 10-foot requirement. 10% open space requirement. So we are going to be doing a payment in lieu of 10% open space for this site. Hopefully to go for 0 lot line across the site, give us some space for utility connections, locations, trash, containment, as well as the roadway that exits out onto South 3rd. So previously when we were here, we met about the building height. We've since engaged LS3P as an architect, and due to our brownfield sites, as she was saying, it's basically unusable space for us downstairs. Most of our retailers are looking for 26 feet wide. We have a minimum setback of 10 feet required on all 3 sides of that site. So we have done several community meetings, and the one consensus that we hear from all of the surrounding neighbors is that there is not enough parking in the area, especially with South 5th becoming a 2-year project for the road restoration and sewer project that's about to break ground. So hearing all those concerns, we opted to do a tiered design, and we are actually over a 1-to-1 parking currently. The new design that we have come up with provides the same screening. It also has a continuous grade that we applied for previously with the 5.5-foot building height increase. We are keeping the 35 by 35 foot requirement at the corner of South 3rd and Wooster Street as a look-through for traffic patterns. The only variance that we're applying for at the corner of the building would be at South 4th and Worcester. There's still an opening left there. It's just not as large because traffic cannot enter onto Worcester Street. And I'm available for any questions you might have.
Does anyone have any questions for the applicant?
Did you say that you were going to pay, and are you complying with streetscape and landscaping requirements, or no?
Correct.
You are? Or are you paying?
Streetscape and landscape requirements. The only variance, or the PC hearing that we went to yesterday that we passed was for 10% open space. So the UMX code required us to leave 10% non-disturbed, undeveloped site, and for a site like this, we couldn't come up with a space for it, essentially because of the three sides and being over an acre. So we are dedicating an assessed value of $333,000. 10% of that is going to Parks and Rec.
Okay. So as far as streetscape and landscaping, you are going to meet those requirements?
Correct.
Okay.
Fenestration, everything consistent with the code, yes.
Anybody else have any questions for the applicant? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anything else city-wise before we move forward?
I'll just offer 2 points of clarification. The maximum setback from any of the street frontages is 10 feet rather than a minimum setback because the intent in the UMX is to build closer to the rights-of-way. Additionally, I believe that the open space waiver that was granted, was that from the Design Adjustment Committee? Yes. Okay, so that wouldn't have been a variance that was before the Board of Adjustment.
All right, thank you. Anything else before we open up the evidentiary hearing? All right, we'll go ahead and open up the evidentiary hearing. If there's any parties that would like to provide information that's relevant, competent, or substantial related to this matter, please come forward. Being that there aren't any, we will close the evidentiary hearing. At this time, is there anything else from the city?
No, sir.
Anything, applicant, Mr. Beckley, do you have anything? All right. All right, if there's not anything else from the board, I'll go ahead and we'll close and go into talking about how you'd like to move on this item.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems like it meets the findings of fact, right? There will be hardship that will result given the restrictions of the property. It is, there's some peculiarity to the property, and given what they're trying to do, and I mean, it's peculiar because of the brownfield nature of the site, right? Any other
Also, the
thoughts?
parking is going to be in the footprint of the building, so it's not like a separate parking lot outside of the building.
Yeah.
And South Fourth and Wooster do not physically connect, and per the city, in conversations with the DOT, they are not going to connect, so I do think we can really state, as the applicant has, that it's not necessarily a corner, because there's no connection now or planned.
It's within the spirit of the code because it's keeping the parking there, not pushing more people onto the street, supporting public safety.
If there's not any other discussion, is there a motion related to this variance?
I'll make a motion to approve the variance to the 3 parcels on South 4th Street based on the four findings of fact that there would be hardship. The property is peculiar based on the brownfield nature, and it is in line with the spirit of the code, supporting public safety and keeping people off on-street parking.
Is there a second for that?
I would second that motion.
All right, that being the case, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It passes. We'll move on to the no more items. Is there anything else for today?
Just a reminder that the School of Government training for quasi-judicial boards and commissions will be May 10th.
All right.
And Patrick, we will handle your past due balance.
You always got to like that. All right, if there's not anything else, we'll adjourn. Thank you.